Good morning, Winter Soldier. How are you, sir? Let's see here.
Hello, my friend.
Hey, how's it going?
Very good. Very good. I'm less stressed now.
Winter Soldier, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. You're coming in loud and clear.
Nice.
Awesome, perfect.
Awesome.
Nice to meet you, Winter Soldier.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, we're never quite sure what everybody's times are for these schedules, so we appreciate everybody being flexible. We're going to wait a few minutes for folks to join us.
Hello, guys. What's up? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. How are you, DeFi Advisor?
I'm good, man. How are you? Nice to be here.
Doing great. Let's see if Charlene
Hi all.
is up for speaking.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, DefiCheetah, thanks for hopping in, sir. We're looking forward to speaking with you guys this morning.
Yeah, I appreciate the team to keep innovating the DeFi products in this space, especially when this space is swarmed with
Uh-oh.
You mute
Yeah,
everyone.
sorry about that, everybody.
Kamet, so we have our intern, I see. Charlene is there.
Yeah, I will invite her to speak, but she's had a stressful morning, with the with our token offering, and so
I know she's disappointed.
yeah, she might just want to kind of like lay back and listen. We'll see. Hello, Charlene.
Hey, I'm on.
How you doing?
Hello, man.
I'm not too happy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know why that's muting everyone.
I think, my Kamet, we should introduce our intern as the unique and sole founder in DeFi space, not being able to have his own token.
Yeah.
I'm not too happy. I'm here to learn. I'm audience, so I'm not supposed to be speaker.
That's perfectly fine, Charlene. If you just want to hang out, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
I'm
learn from you guys.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to dry your eyes and join us and listen in. Well, I think we're starting to get a pretty good crowd in here. And we are 3 minutes past the hour. So if it's all right with everybody else, I think, just to be respectful of everyone's time, I think we should probably go ahead and jump into this. This is being recorded, so if folks join late or aren't able to join us at all, they can always tune in for the recording, so we can all retweet this and share it so everybody can have a chance to hear our conversation. But I guess we can kind of do some quick introductions. My name's K-Metz. I'm one of the co-founders of A-Team, core contributor to Aladdin DAO. And we set up this space this morning to talk with DefiCheetah and Winter Soldier about the future of stablecoins, how they view stablecoins now, what they think would be some interesting dynamics in the future for those. And joining me is the rest of the A-Team, and we can go ahead and introduce those. They are Subli, who's also a core contributor for Aladdin DAO. Crypto Prophet and DeFi Advisor.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here. I'm excited for the space. I think it's one of our biggest yet, if not the biggest.
Yeah, absolutely. And then joining us as well is DefiCheetah.
Hey everyone, thank you for inviting me here to share more about our view as to the future of stablecoins.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And then also as well, another leading thought leader in the DeFi space is Wintersoldier. Welcome, Wintersoldier.
Yeah, hey everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Very excited to get into this discussion and learn a little bit about everyone's views on the landscape of stablecoins.
Couldn't agree more, sir. So we'll just we'll go ahead and kind of jump into this. We kind of want to keep this sort of a laid back discussion. So whenever anyone sort of has a point they want to raise, feel free to unmute yourself and speak. And then if we have time at the end, we can open it up to maybe some question and answers from the audience at the end. So I'll go ahead and kind of kick things off here. And so I think, the impetus for this space and sort of this discussion really stems from, as everybody knows, sort of the depegging of USDC on March 13th. And I kind of like to ask both of you, DefiCheetah and Wintersoldier, sort of how did each of you react to it, and how has your thinking towards stablecoins and your usage of them changed since that event? So, DefiCheetah, do you want to start off?
Sure. You mean after the USDC incident, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I think the USDC incident reminds us of a very important thing, which is the basic asset denomination in this industry. Just imagine if if the crypto industry's market size is 100x than compared to now, then if most of those stable coins are USDT or USDC, we might have a situation where there would be much bigger chaos in the future, and our whole industry is predicated on the fact that the custody the custody of backing in Tether or in Circle works fine, which may not be the case, especially they are also put those backing capital or assets in those banks. So that means if there are some bank running issues that affect the backing behind, that will hugely affect the industry's stability. So that makes me think it's time for the narrative that builds something that is really robust. By robustness, I mean it is decentralized, but at the same time can allow the stablecoin to withstand those moments that will affect the inherent instability. So I think this is something that I think there will be more. But recently there are some LSD-backed stablecoins that also stress on the real yield at the same time could allow the censorship resistance because of the recent more regulatory stuff going on. So yeah.
And so, well, thank you for those thoughts, DefiCheetah. Wintersoldier, kind of sort of what was your reaction to the event, and how have you sort of like changed your thinking on how you approach stable coins?
Yeah, happy to share some thoughts. I think in general, the specific DPEG event was a little bit more market panic than it was actually. I would say the market was sort of overpricing the risk of Circle's insolvency, or should I say like asset to liability ratio. It's certainly things that we've seen in the past before with centralized stablecoins. As we've seen countless times in the case of Tether. I think it was a larger market reaction in general, just because I would say the West has a little bit more of built-in trust on Circle. It's always been sort of this U.S. regulated entity that a lot of retail customers and even institutions have a lot of trust on. But yeah, as Cheetah mentioned, I definitely agree that it was quite a cold awakening and reminded to the market that centralized stablecoins fundamentally come with counterparty risk. It comes with censorship risk, and I guess that was also why a lot of decentralized stablecoins, like specifically LUSD, gained a lot of adoption during that time. And we're also, as you mentioned, seeing a lot more projects looking to tackle the issue in the space, because it is quite clear that for the industry to move forward, there is going to be a need for a scalable, decentralized stablecoin. And I'm excited to see a lot of the new projects that are coming to market with this. You know, there's a lot of LSD-backed stablecoins. You know, MakerDAO has this extremely ambitious endgame plan to sort of move towards full decentralization, and obviously there's things like FX that you guys are doing as well. So it is. I would say it's definitely a positive catalyst for the market to start thinking about continuing to tackle this problem of having a holy grail of a decentralized stablecoin that all DeFi users can use and can properly scale, which has sort of been, I would say, quite avoided ever since last May when UST depegged.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of agrees with your thoughts on sort of centralized stablecoins and sort of the need to decentralize from that. I'd be curious to hear from any of the ATeam members, sort of same question to you guys, reactions to the banking apps, the USDC depeg, and how you changed your approach to stable coins.
I'm happy to tackle that question. Basically, I mean, if I want to take a step back, it seems that there is a kind of rotation of fear. First of all, we had USDT, then it came back to USDC. Recently, the US government attacked BUSD, so the Binance-pegged USD coin, and it was I think minted by Paxos, and Paxos stopped the minting of it. Why I know that? Because BUSD was supposed to be spread everywhere on alternative chains or L2, and Binance just stopped this deployment. I mean, it's massive. It's a massive attack. And now what you see is that USDC is losing its market share, and you have USDT who is gaining market share. So it seems that there is a kind of rotation. What I'm happy to see, and what I did as a changing behavior, is that I am now holding much less centralized stablecoin compared to previously, and I'm trying to diversify with different decentralized stablecoin, because as Wintersoldier and DefiCheetah said, there's still the risk of censorship, and once you put your funds in crypto or you put your economy in it, even if it is stablecoin, if you put more stablecoin in a bank, there is a very low likelihood that you will lose your money. It doesn't matter. It's not about you lose the traditional finance or you don't lose it, but you have faith in it. At least I have faith in my French bank that I will be able at any time to recover my funds if I go to the bank account. DeFi still has some underlying risk, smart contract risk, depeg risk. So I think it's good to diversify in centralized stablecoin and decentralized stablecoin. At least this is the way I'm doing right now on my portfolio.
Crypto Prophet or DeFi Advisor, you guys have anything you want to add?
I feel pretty much the same as most people here have said. I think it really demonstrated to me two things. That things can only seem durable or to have a lot of endurance, but once tested, you can see how easily the trust of the market changes. And I think the general publics it only looks at price. So coming out of all this episode, it sees USDT as as strong, and like I mean in the broader population, with those who really are not as into DeFi itself as we are, I think. Within DeFi, I think it really proven the LUSD case. And personally, for me, to be honest, I don't really hold that many stable coins. I honestly think that the new money is ETH for someone like me. And in a way, despite all the volatility that ETH has, I kind of prefer to hold ETH because I think it will eventually all come down to that asset.
Thank you, sir, for that input. I guess we can keep just to kind of piggyback onto kind of all that. I mean, that event was.
You guys are. I'm not sure how place.
That event, that USDC DPEG, was sort of the impetus for Aladdin DAO to basically begin the design of FX protocol. And as you know, if folks aren't aware, please visit the Discord, the Aladdin DAO Discord, and at protocol_FX to learn more about it. But basically, the goal is to basically create a decentralized, low volatility asset that people can utilize to escape the volatility of the crypto market. And so, I think with a lot of like philosophical thinking and kind of digesting sort of what had happened, our team at Aladdin DAO basically kind of realized that there's maybe some existential dilemmas that come with having US dollar pegged stable coins, centralized stable coins in the market. And I kind of like to get folks' thoughts on sort of the two dilemmas that we've sort of kind of like thinking about. And the first one is dilemmas that come from stable coins backed by US dollar financial instruments, treasury bills or real world assets. And then in addition to that would be dilemmas of just keeping a low volatility asset pegged to the US dollar, and the dilemmas that come from that as well. And so maybe we can talk about that a little bit. I'm curious, DefiCheetah, if you've had any thoughts in regards to either of those, in terms of how we approach those types of centralized USD pegged stable coins in DeFi, and if that's something that we need to really see as an existential threat.
I think actually regarding this, I think USD pegged stablecoin could be classified into two types. The first is the one that you mentioned is backed by real asset or assets that I think could be subject to certain kind of censorship or regulatory risks. And the second type would be those that are not backed by the real asset or backed by, for example, like ETH or LSD, whatever. But their price is pegged to USD as a matter of mechanism design rather than the collateral types. So I think in terms of the first one, I think definitely if the market or the industry is full of this kind of stablecoin, it would be a huge issue, because at the end of the day, as we can see, there are more and more those regulations churning now targeting at the stablecoin area. And if stablecoin is under scrutiny or under regulatory pressure, it's hard to run independently of those regulatory stuff, because at the end of the day, there may even be KYC for you to hold certain stablecoin. I don't know, but if to that extent, that would be a huge disincentive for people to use crypto, because it makes people feel even less privacy by using blockchain technology, which is not really a bad move, I would say. But for the second type, I think it's just a matter of the mechanism of what type of asset you would like to peg. And I think there are a lot of this kind of development targeting at this. And there are also another type of development about instead of pegging to USD, why not we just have our native stable coin that is stable to not from the perspective of USD, but from the perspective of, let's say, the one of the most widely accepted crypto asset called ETH. So I think in terms of this, it takes quite much effort to let people to recognize it because, for example, from our gut feeling, like when we calculate the value of an asset, we will automatically put it under the denomination of USD. So I think it is more about the matter of the impression or something like that. So yeah, I think that's my opinion. So if others have different thoughts about that, or yeah.
Winter Soldier, I'd kind of like to get your thoughts on the same thing. Just the sort of the impacts and threats of USD pegged stablecoins backed by real world assets, or just even being pegged to the dollar itself. Just any thoughts you have on those? If you view that as a threat, if you don't view that as a threat, I'd be curious to know what you think.
Yeah, I'll try to play a little bit of devil's advocacy and take sort of the other side of the argument here. So I definitely agree with everyone in this room thoughts on the fundamental risks that real-world assets and centralized stablecoins sort of bring to crypto, right? It kind of goes against the ethos of decentralization and censorship resistance, but at the same time. In the current state of the market that we're in, the most liquid and utilized stablecoins across all of DeFi are actually still centralized stablecoins. It provides a very easy user onboarding experience, and it provides the most liquidity and utility across CeFi and DeFi. And as a new user, maybe nobody in this space here would be considered in that target group. Naturally, this concept of decentralization and trustlessness might be a little scary, and having a centralized sort of government-regulated stablecoin is actually a relatively important part of the ecosystem. Now, do I think this is going to be sort of the end game or the end game ideologies of crypto as a whole? Absolutely not. As I mentioned before, I'm a big proponent and big supporter of teams who are looking to bring a scalable decentralized stablecoin into the space. But I do think centralized stablecoins have their place, at least for now, in the ecosystem. Moving on to the second point of
I fully agree.
Sorry.
Subli, did you have something to add? Go ahead, Winter Soldier.
Okay. Yeah, so I was just saying, so moving on to the second point of I guess, tokens pegged to non-US dollar assets, I certainly think we're quite a long way away from having most users accept non-US dollars as a formal unit of account. I would say there's probably a very small amount of extremely crypto native people like you wonderful folks at Aladdin DAO who are proponents of this. And I certainly see there would be a small subset of users within the crypto native group to have demand for
I apologize, everyone. We had a technical difficulty there. Let me make sure I can, if someone can make sure they can unmute themselves. Winter Soldier, I apologize.
Yeah, no, it's
yeah,
hello,
go ahead.
hello.
You're good.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I was just saying, when it comes to my point about having non-USD pegged assets, I think it still takes, it's probably going to take a while for the general community to have an appetite towards this. I certainly think there is a small subset of users who would seek for this type of thing. And I think this was proven when MakerDAO first introduced the DAI endgame for it to become a free-floating asset. And there's also similar mechanisms, like I believe Canto's stablecoin Note is also doing something similar. And there are users who have adopted this. But it is going to take a decent amount of time for this sort of view and I guess users to get used to the idea of transacting in a unit of count that's not denominated in the US dollar. So yeah, I'm definitely a believer in the idea, but I also don't think, I think it's a little bit early for the entire market right now.
Yeah, I appreciate you kind of taking the devil's advocate point of view on that, because I think it's kind of interesting to sort of understand sort of the spectrum of what we're dealing with. Like for Aladdin to you know, to create something like FX protocol, I mean that was driven by like DAO needs, right? You know, we have like you know devs you have to pay, and you know, core contributors, and you know various staff, and so those people, you know, if you can only pay them 88 cents on the dollar, that's bad news bears. And so you've got to have something that can hold its value and you can at least plan for. So that's really what drove FX protocol to be developed from sort of you know, sort of a floating stablecoin aspect. And so, you know, one of the other things that's interesting is you talk about sort of onboarding new users. And I think it's sort of interesting to sort of like come at from an angle of sort of like, you know, everyone talks about wanting to onboard TradFi, and you know, TradFi is going to look at you know, having ETH as a stablecoin or whatever is very bizarre. And so the dollar sort of like somewhat has to act as a bridge, but at the same time, you know, the entire impetus of crypto itself, I mean, you know, it's in the Genesis block of Bitcoin, you know, Chancellor on the brink of second bailout for banks or something like that. And so it's sort of one of those deals where it's like, well, how far in bed do you want to get, you know, with this, you know, this beast, you know, that we're all kind of fighting, but at the same time, you sort of want to welcome that influx of capital. And so, and not only that, but it is very Lindy, you know, utilizing the dollar. It's sort of been the reserve currency since World War II. So everyone has that as sort of a very common frame to operate from. You know, everything is denominated in dollars. So there's definitely that. So, and I think Aladdin recognizes, and any other protocol that sort of like has decided to stray from the US dollar peg has realized that it's a paradigm shift. Like there's a lot of education that has to go on. It's like you said, we're early. And so so it's kind of interesting to kind of like ponder sort of what the adoption is going to look like and by whom, you know, in the next year or two. I think one of the other things that I'll bring up, and then I can kind of open it up to anybody else that wants to follow up, is, you know, one of the existential threats from the centralized stablecoins was when Ethereum had to do the fork for the merge. And, you know, I welcome anyone else's input on this, but one of the factors that was sort of in the air was USDC and Tether. Were they going to, which fork were they going to choose? Were they going to choose proof of work or proof of stake? And those were existential questions in terms of, you know, which direction Ethereum was going to go, because you had to have buy-in on one or the other. And that could have been disastrous. But fortunately, they both chose proof of stake, and I don't think it was really sort of what you could truly call an existential dilemma. But it certainly was a, you know, tail risk to consider. And so the more ingrained we have our stablecoin protocols in the Ethereum economy, those are just fewer tail risks that we have to consider. So yeah, if anybody else has any other thoughts on this matter, please let us know.
Yeah, just to come back on what Wintersoldier said, I think there are two main points you just told. That first is trust, I think US dollar is the currency that is trusted all around the world. And then it's liquid market. I mean, USD is very liquid. It's extremely liquid. So if you want to onboard the normal Joe that is sitting on his couch, on his mobile, playing with Binance, he's going to use USD. I mean, he's going to buy Dogecoin with USD, no matter what kind of decentralized stablecoin we're going to buy. So I think there is a lot of work beyond us to educate people about decentralization. I mean, we are all in this audience decentralized maxis. There is no debate on that. However, DeFi is a niche in crypto, and this audience is the niche within the niche. So, but that was the first point. So I understand the point of Wintersoldier that technically it's a great mass adoption and current, let's say, continuous use of the decentralized stablecoin may take some time, at least until when the market will become more liquid for decentralized stablecoin. The second thing that when we're talking about FX, we should know as well that FX is created when you deposit ETH. So that will interest, let's say, people down, like you said, KMS, who are holding ETH for long term, because then they are going to increase their capital efficiency. So there is of course a stablecoin, who is going to use it, but I think the real target is who is holding ETH for the coming 5 to 10 years, and what are you going to do with that? Are you going to farm it? Are you going to stake it? Or are you going to mint ETH and then do something with your ETH? And then it's up to us, to the core contributor team of Analyzing Down, to make sure that ETH is widely used in DeFi. I've been in discussion quite a lot with token with strategists for liquidity. I mean, the amount of time using to increase the usage of LUSD is massive. And it's working, but it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy. And I think we have all this energy in the team, and we will make sure that we strive for that.
Crypto Prophet or DeFi Advisor, do you guys have any thoughts?
Sure, Prophet, you want to go first?
If possible, sure. Okay, so I think stablecoins are like very interesting. So in a large outline, for me it's very important because it's kind of serving as like a base value settlement layer. Before we had a lot of stablecoins in crypto, we actually just traded against BTC. So in the beginning, what Subliax actually said, like the guy on the couch buying with dollars, that's actually only like since 2017 or something. And before it, we were all buying it with SET actually. But so what I want to point out is I think it has like an evolutionary stage. Like first, we don't have smart contracts, so we don't really have really decentralized stable coins, you could say. Then we get stable coins, then crypto goes like 10x as huge as like an industry basically since that point, because we can actually store value a lot simpler and settle value also simpler. And then now we're like at some kind of big bang moment where it's like a Cambrian explosion of some kind actually, of all kinds of methodologies and technologies around capturing value and pegging value kind of being developed independently from each other. And then you get like kind of the, on the one hand, you get like dollar stable coins. On the other hand, you get like very backed, kind of backed, algorithmic backed. I think this is like a first phase. Then I think like a second phase is like actually what FX is doing now, like more like a value derivative kind of something that has inherent value, and then like muted volatility on that. And then also other like free floating mechanisms like the FPI thing is also happening. So I think this is like a second phase. And then I think there's like a third phase where we kind of like economically and mathematically get how to actually preserve value. Because it's like an ancient old dilemma. You could say now like the USD is maybe not the best fiat currency, but like basically everything we do with money is kind of a sham. So it hasn't really been figured out yet. So I think there's also not really like a perfect stable coin. And I'm actually also very much of the opinion, like DeFi advisor is, that I think Ethereum should just basically become base money actually. And that then leads me to my final point, and that's life, and it is kind of deflationary. This is like a mechanism that is deriving value from the activity of the network that people are willing to pay for, like customers. So it's not thin air value, it's value that's actually being transferred from point A to B. Have like actually a yield bearing stable coin that's fully crypto based, that's not actually a derivative or like pegged to a real world asset, you know, and this is something that's really evolutionary, I think, in the broader 10-year stablecoin timeline we've just had. So I think the future is going to be more experimentation about free floating mechanisms and more built-in yield mechanisms, trying to artificially peg to basically whatever government policy is doing in a certain region at a certain time.
I tend to agree with Prophet on this one, and with most that's been said. To be honest, I think I think Lindy effect is more important than all the rational stuff, because I think most people imitate rather than actually research what's actually going on. So of course, it's like you said, the niche within a niche. It will people that are so into it and who really like look for the profound use cases. Like in a way, that's going to determine how all kinds of these free floating assets and all these derivative types, who will survive and who won't in the long run. Because for the real TVL, for some to be as big as something like USDT or USDC or whatever, you have to have some kind of Lindy effect that like the common foe knows about you, and not only those who are really into it and they are getting paid by a specific DAO, so they need. I think we're really early on, but I think that this process is much longer than most people think. Like I personally think it's it's a decades process. But I tend to agree with what Prophet said. Like we're entering the huge experimentation phase, and I think we're already in it. And there are so many interesting innovations that this battle of survival that's going to be decided within the niche that's within the niche is going to be, for people like us watching it and participating in it, quite exciting.
Yeah, it sounds like kind of what I'm kind of gaining from or gathering from everyone is that it sounds like a spectrum of stable coins is basically sort of kind of what we're all sort of aiming towards. The famous stablecoin trilemma, and Crypto Prophet kind of touched on it a little bit, which is decentralization, capital efficiency, and peg stability. And, in light of the banking crisis, Aladdin DAO took a look at it and said, well, we want maximum decentralization as much as, is realistic. And we want something that's capital efficient, because LUSD is, if you have a CDP, it's an expensive stable coin to mint. And so we're like capital efficiency and decentralization, and in exchange, we basically have decided to sacrifice peg stability for the FX protocol. But it's possible to do a peg stabilized FETH. That's certainly not a problem. But one of the issues there is you actually once you peg to the US dollar, you are pegging to the monetary policy decisions of the United States government and the Federal Reserve. And I'd be curious to know, DefiCheetah and Wintersoldier, is pegging to the US dollar and sort of basically stating that yes, we will march in lockstep with the with the U.S. government. Is that what we are implicitly saying? And is that something that we should move away from? I'd be curious to get your thoughts on that.
I think regarding this, I think it's more about a normative question, because at the end of the day, stablecoin depends on the how many people actually use it. I think it is a gradual process that allows people to recognize that at one point of time there may be another choice. But I think because I sometimes I want to be more close to the crowd, and I get in touch with people that are not really into the crypto industry. I find that the asymmetry, I mean, in terms of the information or whatever, between those within the crypto industry and those outside of the crypto industry are quite large. I mean, the gap between both. So I think for now, it really needs some projects like FX to kind of like those pioneer to let others know that there are actually other options available in the market, and those who those who are more alert to this kind of problems will think deep about whether they should move away from. I think and other protocols actually try to do the same thing. For example, like MakerDAO also have its endgame plan to move it. I think it's more like a experimental stage, but I'm very keen to see there are some new developments, because you really never know when those narratives will break out, So I think you don't know until you try. Yeah.
Winter Soldier, do you have any thoughts to follow up on that?
Yeah, for the most part, I think I agree with most of DefiCheetah's points. Like, it's relatively early of a narrative to be sort of talking about the idea of having a unit of account that's not denominated in the dollar. I would say that for the mass majority, I would say crypto natives included, it is just the flexibility and the liquidity and the fact that I guess the U.S. dollar is the world's reserve currency that makes dollar-denominated stablecoins so dominant within crypto. There have also been there's definitely I'm not a macroeconomics expert, but I've also heard a lot of speculation and analysis about the dollar strength over time. But at the same time, alternatives like non-dollar denominated stablecoins, I'm talking other fiat currencies, haven't really had much adoption yet. So I do think like if the market were to move away from the U.S. dollar, specifically in crypto, ETH does seem like the most natural asset to move towards. And I actually think the low volatility peg to ETH concept is actually quite genius, but it might be a little bit early for its time at the moment.
Yeah, I think most folks would agree with you that obviously it's early for any sort of like general acceptance, obviously, and like I said earlier, it was basically designed so that Aladdin DAO could make sure they were able to pay their bills. So it'll be interesting. One of the things that's actually funny about it is with FFX protocol, the net asset value of everything is calculated in dollars. We don't denominate things in ETH, just yet. So the dollar is still always going to be some sort of a reference, right? However, the measurement of sort of the volatility of things is in dollars. How that's what everything about crypto. That's why we're in crypto. We all love the high volatility when it goes up, but when it goes down, it's bad news bears for everybody. So, crypto prophet or DeFi advisor, you guys have anything else that you want to add?
I think few different things throughout this space, actually, I think. And I want to get back to like the trilemma there that you said about decentralization. Sorry, which were the other two again?
It's peg stability, decentralization, and scalability.
Very good argument that Satoshi made the first stablecoin, and it's called Bitcoin, and he just completely sacrificed peg stability, actually. With that is like, if you are like super worried that the banking world is going to crash or TradFi isn't real, then you should probably store some value in crypto or in Bitcoin or anything that has a non-inflationary supply or less inflationary supply, actually. So I think in some way this is already crypto trying to, as a movement, create a like new way of measuring value that maybe but is not like influenced by dollar policy. It's from poor policy. A huge interesting point, but then kind of for the people to also like have actually dollars to interact with. So I think backed stablecoins also still really serve a purpose. Satoshi point, actually.
DeFi advisor, do you have any thoughts you would like to add?
I don't think it's an exciting time, because really this playground of experimentation is, in my opinion, only going to accelerate, and stuff, that you see like with FX and with all kinds of other stuff going on in the industry, which are becoming, adding more and more layers to this whole game and starting to create different perceptions of values and like deeper experiments with this, internet money that's been invented a little over a decade ago. I think this whole process is accelerating, and I think it's going to present all kinds of new challenges. And I think it's important to remember that perception is just as important as the essence itself sometimes, because something it's not it's important to not only have a great product, it's important to have awareness that this product is a good one, and to really show and demonstrate people that like once you really have use case and there's actual usage of something, it's so much easier to start really reaching that other side of the public, most public, that doesn't look until the other one looks. So I think that's going to be a bigger challenge, I think, for all kinds of projects than personally I think they all perceive. Because on the bigger picture, yes, that we are experiencing the big change of like the disconnection of government and money. It's actually happening, but it is like maybe it's going to take centuries. I don't know, and that's why I think that assets that prove a use case which is simple, like for example ETH, they are going to be the one that will stand at the end, but the end is far, far away.
Yeah, we're just Martin Luther hammering 99 Theses onto the door right now still. So got a ways to go there. But I think if anyone has any questions in the audience, please feel free to raise your hand. We're kind of winding down things here, but before we go, I'd kind of like to ask both DefiCheetah and Wintersoldier. We've spoken a lot about sort of FX on the call this morning, and hopefully everybody can go check it out. We're going to be having round 2 of our initial token sale here in a couple weeks, so everyone keep your eye on Twitter and the Aladdin Discord for more info on that. But just for research purposes and just to kind of understand the scope of the stablecoin space and just from a couple guys that really know their stuff, I'd be curious to know, DefiCheetah and Wintersoldier, just what projects, stablecoin projects you've seen that look like the future of stablecoins that interest you, that have kind of piqued your curiosity. I'd be curious to hear what you guys have seen.
In terms of the future of stablecoin project, that's a really good question. I think, in my opinion, I will pick. Let me think. That's a good question. I think for now, before the launch of FX, I would say France is doing quite great, but the issue of France is that it's backed by USDC, which is somehow could be a huge risk, as you just mentioned the incident in March. But the overall landscape and the team's understanding in how to run our stablecoin well, I think they're doing this exceptionally well, and I think it's quite interesting that MakerDAOs later on have some move. I suspect quite likely take good reference from the first team. So I think not sure how it turns out, but so far I think they're doing quite great. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I was going to actually steal DefiCheetah's answer. I would say for now, in terms of the current stablecoin landscape, the one I'm definitely the most excited and bullish about is Frax. There are a couple of, I think the idea of this DeFi-backed stablecoin, which is kind of what Frax is, with a majority of its collateral being in other stable LPs, is a cool concept, and the team definitely understands both the traditional monetary system as well as decentralized finance extremely well. In terms of experimental ones, other than FX, I think another one, just to plug Frax again, FPI is quite an interesting one, with it being pegged to inflation, where the idea is sort of like you have a unit of account that accurately represents spending power, purchasing power. Other ones, I would say the new LSD, the new wave of sort of a bunch of new LSD-backed stablecoins are also certainly interesting. You can sort of generate this yield-bearing asset, or sort of have this sort of stable protocol income through collateral yield. Those are pretty interesting, and of course, MakerDAO's very, very ambitious endgame is also a very large DeFi experiment that's currently happening. Those are all, I would say, relatively speculative ideas, and I would be very keen to be paying attention to their developments over the next coming months and years. But for now, I would say the go-to and the one that I'm probably the most confident on is Frax at the moment.
Yeah, Frax is one of Aladdin's main partners, so we're always wishing success for them and success for MakerDAO. We're positive sum in this space, and we want everyone to succeed. It helps everyone out. We need a lot fewer Terra Lunars, and we need a lot more Fraxes and FXs in this space. Crypto Profit and DeFi Advisor, do you guys have any projects you've seen that look kind of interesting that folks might want to take a peek at to compare to FX?
In my opinion, for sure, when we speak about stable coins, I think that honestly, what I really think is that in the next 2 years, they're going to be, at least for the dollar denominated ones, there's going to be a new king, and it's going to be CRV-USD. I think that, and I think it relates to what I've mentioned about Lindy effect. I think Curve has a Lindy effect within DeFi. So I think once CRV-USD opens up for new collateral types and really starts expanding, I think we're going to see a lot of TVL incoming, and I think it's going to be a process that's going to accelerate faster than others, because I really think that it has not only an innovative new mechanism with the Llama. I'm pretty sure most of you have heard about it, at least basically, and probably understand it better than myself. Yet I do think that it's gonna have its in Hebrew we say it's gonna have its name go before it comes. So like I think it's gonna be easier for a brand like Curve to really attract a lot of capital, and I think CRV-USD is going to be a much bigger player than many people think. With once new collateral types are going to be added, and personally I think there's going to be a whole lot of collaterals being added within the next year or so.
Yeah, I think everyone's excited about Curve USD. That one's going to be interesting, and you know those guys are going to have a really innovative design, especially with the Llama system. So, Crypto Profit, you got anything you've been kind of keeping your eye on?
Just, yeah, I really also want to say Curve USD really because I've been like accumulating Curve for like 2 years, and I had a huge stablecoin bull thesis on it before it was even like known that there was going to be a Curve USD, because I think in the first principle way it kind of works like this. Like no matter what, if you want to transfer value, you need to have liquidity, and like Curve is exceptionally good at attracting large amounts of TVL for like really basically since DeFi exists, you could say. It's like a top contender every season, you know, for TVL. They sell their token in order to rent TVL actually, but this seems to not be that, and this is getting more Lindy. So that then you're probably best off with like a branded stablecoin in them as well. And then that generates TVL for like your stablecoin peg, and also like keeps tokens kind of locked or a huge war chest of TVL to like pull from. L plus stablecoin liquidity is very interesting, and it leads to a shit ton of options in the future.
I don't know if it's just me, but some of the stuff is cut off. I'm not hearing everything perfectly the same.
Yeah, he might be having a little bit of a connection issue, but I mean, you know, I'll just sum it up. He's bullish Curve USD, so I think we all are. You know, for me, the one that I think I've seen that's been most interesting, other than FX, is Redacted Cartel's Dinero. Has a very interesting design where it's basically backed by MEV and block space rewards from validators. They have a really innovative design to make a decentralized stablecoin. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. There's a lot of stuff coming out. I think the one thing that we are not lacking in DeFi is creativity and innovation. And so I think there's a lot of projects that are probably going to be coming out here soon. I think there's lots of ways for all of them to integrate with one another and be positive sum. And I know that Aladdin is certainly going to aim to do that. So hopefully everybody, finds out what works for them. I think, on this space, we've definitely sort of bandied about a bunch of ideas, but I think one of the main takeaways, it's going to be a spectrum. There's going to be more stable coins. They're going to be more decentralized. Centralized ones are still going to be sticking around, but there's going to be a whole bunch of flavors, and I think there's going to be room for all of them. And so hopefully everybody gets a chance to go out, learn about them, put your own thoughts together, and make the best decisions for yourself and in your investments. So with that, I guess, man, right on the hour, I'll go ahead and close this out. So DefiCheetah, Wintersoldier, really appreciate you guys jumping on. Do you guys have any last words?
No, not too
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Thank you for the discussion, and thank you for the views from everyone, because I think it's always a good thing to discuss about one of the most important sector in crypto, which is the stable coins. Yeah.
Yeah, likewise. Really, really enjoyed the conversation today. I think we touched on some very interesting topics, and just thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, anytime, guys. We really enjoyed having you on. We enjoyed everybody joining us in the audience. Like we said, this is the A-Team. We're the in-house media channel for Aladdin DAO, and we just want to thank everybody for coming on today. Crypto Profit, DeFi Advisor, thank you guys so much for your input and for joining the space this morning and contributing really valuable insights. And everyone, go check out FX Protocol when you get a chance. It's the new stablecoin and zero cost leverage long ETH product from Aladdin DAO. Pretty interesting. We just had our token raised this morning if you had a spare 60 seconds and you had your finger on the buy button. It was a tough one. But anyway, there'll be more coming out about that soon. So appreciate everyone for joining this morning, and everyone have a great rest of your week. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.
Just one more thing, Kevin, just one more thing. Thank you for brilliant hosting on this one, honestly. Really enjoyed it. I think you did an amazing job and throughout the whole thing, directing it and managing it. I honestly admire the way you did it. And thank you for the Aladdin DAO and the community for allowing us to even have this attention and, doing our best to bring as much awareness and to everyone interested, and everyone feel free to spread the word, even if it's just an RT or a comment or a like. Every day someone new discovers crypto. It's a very cliche, but it's the honest truth, and you can never know who sees your reply or comment and starts getting interested in something, and one life is changed, and it's a whole new world. We have a saying in Hebrew as well: if you save one life, you've saved the world. And it can translate to all kinds of different meanings, because if you do something good for you never know how something you do can affect someone else for the better. So honestly, thanks a lot, and thank you again, Kmets, for doing an excellent job hosting it from the ATeam's account. Amazing job.
Thank you for those kind words, sir. I certainly do appreciate it and agree with your sentiments. Everyone, DefiCheetah, you got something?
Yeah, thank you, Aladdin DAO.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Aladdin DAO, for the innovation and the effort that makes the community a better one.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. It's there. Aladdin DAO has been wonderful. I certainly enjoy being a part of it, and we certainly enjoyed having everybody around for this space. So appreciate it, everybody. If you missed a portion of this, it's recorded, so you can always go back and re-listen at your own leisure. We'll retweet it as well, so that it doesn't get lost in your feed. Thanks again, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.